Greetings, my fellow Cybertronians. Today I will be breaking down the first Transformers Rise of Beast trailer. So basically, I'll be going through each scene and telling you all the details and Easter eggs that I found and any theories that I might have about this film. Now, in this video, I will just be covering the first trailer, and then I will later cover the Super Bowl trailer and the initial second trailer in later individual videos. However, I will be referring to the other trailers in this video as references so I can explain my theories in more detail. But for now, let's get into today's video. The first few scenes of the trailer show different locations, each with captions saying, "For millions of years, our world has transformed, but something else has awakened." We then see the Maximal leader, Optimus Primal, voiced by Ron Perlman in his gorilla form, charging through the forests of Peru, then slamming down in front of two humans, Elena, played by Dominic Fishback, and Noah, played by Anthony Ramos. If you look closely at Noah's hand, you can see that there's something like a metal glove, which at first gave me cyber sleeves from the Transformers Earthspark kind of vibes. However, this is not the case, since in the second trailer, we can see what we assume is Noah and was what's most likely an exosuit. This might have an Apex armor from Transformers Prime element to it, to how it expands across Noah's body. We then see the leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime, voiced by the legendary Peter Cullen. Now, in this scene, we see him deploy his weapon. However, it isn't his iron blaster that we've seen him use in the Bumblebee movie. Instead, his blaster is now a built-in weapon. So instead of him being able to hold his blaster as a handheld weapon, is now his hand turning into a blaster. And the blaster itself looks very similar to Dropkick's blaster. It's most likely because in the Bumblebee movie, he dropped his gun while fighting Decepticons on Cybertron. Optimus Prime tells Optimus Primal to stand down as he deploys his weapon. Now, we don't know why Prime is so hostile towards Primal. There is most likely going to be an event that takes place before this scene, so it could be that the Autobots and Maximals don't trust each other at the start, and then they'll have to come and join together to defeat their enemies. Hey everyone, future me just saying something really quick. Now, recently, multiple short or new extended clips have constantly been releasing on social media, and one clip in particular is the true version of this scene, which shows the Maximals and Autobots attack each other before Optimus Prime steps in. Now this clip was released while I was still making the first few moments of the script, and I didn't have time to go back and change the script because I wanted to get this video out as quickly as possible. So when I talk about the Autobots and Maximals fighting and teaming up, you can just ignore that. But that's it. Back to you, past me. We then cut to a bridge in Brooklyn. There is lightning in the background and all the lights are flickering, and Optimus Prime is seen in his 1987 Freightliner FLA semi-truck vehicle mode, driving across, possibly going to the Autobots hideout. We see Bumblebee in his 1977 Chevrolet Camaro vehicle mode, transforming into bot mode within the Autobots hideout. We then see Mirage, voiced by Pete Davidson, in his 1985 Porsche 911 vehicle mode, just chilling out in the parking lot. Then Noah enters the car. We're not sure if he broke into Mirage's car mode or Mirage scanned Noah's car and he just got in not knowing it wasn't his car. We get a close-up of Mirage's steering wheel, which shows the Autobot symbol, and this shot made me think of when we saw the Autobot symbol on Bumblebee's steering wheel in the Transformers 2007 film. Mirage then takes off, driving away from a police officer, which leads to a bridge where the cop manages to get Mirage to spin around so he's driving backwards. Then Mirage uses the power of transformation to flip the car back around, and spins Noah around while he watches this all happen. Then Mirage uses his unique power of making holograms to trick the cop into crashing his car. I love how he has this ability, even though in Generation 1 his ability was turning invisible. However, he actually had the same ability in the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Netflix trilogy. We see Bumblebee in his modified Camaro mode, driving beside the Maximal Scout Cheetor, voiced by Toingai Kirasai, in his Cheetah Beast mode. We don't know where they're going. I guess we are just gonna have to wait. In my theory, they're heading towards the Maximal tomb, or possibly to battle, which we see later on in the trailer. Here we see the Maximal Warrior Air Razor voiced by Michelle Yeoh in her Falcon Beast mode, flying and breathing fire as a nearby bridge. But if you look closely, you can see Optimus Prime running towards the bridge. This is why I believe the Maximals and Autobots will fight each other at the start and eventually work together near the end. Next, we see Mirage in his vehicle mode, being chased by the Terracon Nightbird, voiced by Michelle J. Rodriguez, in her Nissan Skyline GTR R33 car mode. We also see two characters fall onto the road, Optimus Prime and the Terracon leader Scourge, voiced by Peter Dinklage. We see Optimus Prime fire towards Scourge, however he misses and Scourge crashes on the road and falls off. Next we see Terracon Battletrap, voiced by David Sobolov in his 1980s GMC Topkick C7000 tow truck vehicle mode, driving backwards as he fires missiles towards his enemies. Continuing from that scene, we see two Autobots, RC voiced by Lisa Koshy and Wheeljack voiced by Cristo Fernandez in his 1970s Volkswagen Type 2 panel bus vehicle mode. Now in this scene, RC and Wheeljack dodge Battletrap's missile by rotating to the side so they can let the missiles fly straight through Wheeljack's vehicle mode. Then they turn back around so RC can return fire with her blaster. We then see Optimus Primal in his Gorilla Beast mode walking as he says, "Of all the threats from both your past and future, you've never faced anything like this." Now I believe that he is talking to Optimus Prime. Next we see an interesting scene. Here we have what looks like the aftermath of Optimus Prime's battle with Scourge outside a museum. We see Optimus Prime on the ground at the feet of Scourge, who seems to be getting ready to kill Optimus Prime with his blade, when Bumblebee leaps towards him, trying to perform a sneak attack, when Scourge turns around and stabs Bee in the chest. Something that I want to talk about is how Scourge manages to stab Bee. If you watch this scene frame by frame, you can actually see that Scourge spins around a split second before Bumblebee makes a leap towards Scourge, which means that somehow Scourge knew that Bumblebee was going to make this move. Now you could say that Scourge knew to make this move since he saw Prime's head turns towards B before Scourge made his attack, but no, because he even turns around even before Prime turns his head. Something else to notice in this scene is that Bumblebee has a weapon which appears to be an axe. Now since Bumblebee is not known to have an axe weapon, I believe that this is actually Optimus Prime's axe, since throughout different series, Optimus Prime has had an axe as his weapon. We then get a side look at Scourge holding Bumblebee by the throat with his blade still in Bee's chest. We see that Scourge's left claw arm is rotating. This could be his arm charging up for an EMP shock attack that probably kills Bumblebee. This proves to be very effective since we see a wide shot of Scourge using his deadly weapon on Bumblebee. If you zoom in, you can see Bumblebee's body goes completely limp as electricity from Scourge's claw arm spreads to Bumblebee and then around the general area. We also see the results of Scourge's battle with Optimus Prime as the museum seems to be completely on fire. Moving on, now in Peru we see a shot of Optimus Prime, Mirage, RC, Wheeljack, Elena and Noah walking across this ancient structure in the ground, which we know to be the Maximal tomb. This can be proven by behind the scenes images of this very spot and the clip from the second trailer where we can see the tomb open with Maximal symbols on it. If you look to where the Autobots and humans are walking, you can see that they are heading towards a village, where we know that a few different scenes will take place. This is proven by more behind the scenes clips of the Autobots and the Terracons driving around, not to mention the next clip which we'll have a look at in a second, and other small clips that we've seen from the more recent clips released. You may have already noticed that I didn't mention Bumblebee in the list of characters that we see. That's because Bumblebee in this scene is nowhere to be found. This scene most likely takes place after B's death that we just looked at in the last clip. My theory is that there is something that the Autobots are looking for that could bring Bumblebee back to life, which gives me Transformers Revenge of the Fallen vibes. Next clip is the village we've seen the Autobots and humans walking towards, where the locals seem to be celebrating something in the parade. Could this have something to do with the Maximals? We don't know. In this clip, we see the Maximal engineer Rhinox, voiced by David Sobolov, in his Rhinoceros Beast mode. Here we see Rhinox roaring at someone or something. Could this be the Terracons? My theory is that this is actually a flashback and he's roaring at a Predacon. We also see that there's a very dark area around Rhinox. I initially thought that this was a graveyard, but these do not seem like to be tombstones, but rather structures. Now, here we have Optimus Prime transforming from truck mode to robot mode. Now, we know for sure that this area that Optimus Prime seems to be at is the Autobots' hideout, since the first frame we can see a building that matches the hideout we see in the second trailer that Optimus Prime enters the hideout as he completes his transformation. These two clips definitely match up. Here we see that 3 meteors are crashing into the city's river. These meteors are actually the Terracons arriving to Earth. The proof we have to support this is that there are 3 of them, Scourge, Battletrap, and Nightbird. Also, in the second trailer, we see these carriages emerging from the river. Now we see Optimus Prime standing up as he activates his weapon and deploys his battle mask, most likely getting ready to fight Scourge. We then hear Optimus Prime say, "Let them come." He's most likely referring to the Terracons. Now this is the biggest part of the trailer to break down, since there is a lot going on. Firstly, we have a first good look at Battletrap's robot mode firing his blaster towards the heroes, as he leads a charge of Freezer troopers to battle against the Maximals and the Autobots. On both sides of Battletrap, we can see the Freezer army running behind him. Now, these guys are getting hit once and falling down, while Battletrap is getting shot in the chest and is still running, which I really love because it shows that these bad guys are really tough. Well, not the Freezers, but this guy is pretty tough. We can also see Nightbird flying towards the good guys, which is really cool, which means that she can have a battle with Air Razor in the sky. One more thing to notice is that behind the Terracon army is a gigantic structure, which must be something that will assist the ultimate darkness coming, being Unicron the Chaos Bringer. Now we see the hero's side of the battlefield, as we see Cheetor do this really cool parkour moment when he runs in his Cheetor mode, flips over this rock, transforms, and continues running in robot mode. This guy is the parkour master! We also see Optimus Prime running alongside Cheetor. If you look closely, we can see that Prime's arms is now turned into his Energon blades, which I think is like super cool. A cool reference to the Michael Bay films. Next, we see Optimus Primal in his beast mode as he leaps towards and then rolls and transforms into robot mode. Then he pulls out what seems to be a combination of his swords and his mace weapon. To the right of Primal, we see RC dual wielding her blasters, which is almost a reference to her incarnation in Transformers Prime. And to the left of her is Wheeljack, who is also dual wielding his blasters. We don't get a clear look at him because of Optimus Prime being in the way. To the left of Optimus Prime, we can very quickly blink and you'll miss it, be able to see both Rhinox and Cheetor in their robot modes. Finally in this scene, we see both the Autobots and Maximals on the left and the Terracon army on the right as they both charge towards each other. We see RC slide on the ground as she shoots towards Nightbird, who flies right over her. Then Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal run up towards Battletrap, while Optimus Primal jumps into the air and smashes his double-bladed sword onto Battletrap's right arm. Then it cut to the title card where the Autobot symbol is where the O in Transformers should be. Then it zooms out as it rotates to the Maximal symbol, then to the Terracon symbol, and then finally back to the Autobot symbol. We then get a clip of Elena as she seems to be in denial about seeing the Autobots.
since she is breathing heavily, telling herself that what is happening isn't real, then claiming that it is real when she sees RC waving to her. This is definitely Leah's first encounter with the Autobots. The last clip of the trailer we get is of Mirage and Noah heading to where I believe is once again the Autobots' hideout. Here we see Mirage in his vehicle mode, driving along before he makes an abrupt stop, then transforming as he gently pushes Noah out of his seat, then spins around to where the clip ends. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my trailer breakdown video. I will be working on my next breakdown videos as soon as possible, hopefully just in time for Rise of the Beast, which is right around the corner. So I will be working as hard as I can to give you guys more of my content. But until then, this is Mr. Mighty telling you to begin the assault.